Ladies and gentlemen, value your presence like currency because it is. Every moment you give to someone, every conversation you share, every ounce of energy you pour into another person, it's an investment. Too often, people forget that attention, time, and emotional energy are limited resources. They are not infinite, and once spent, they cannot be taken back. When you see your presence as currency, you begin to treat it with the same care you would treat your hard-earned money. You wouldn't hand over your wallet to someone who doesn't appreciate it, so why hand over your time and attention to someone who doesn't respect it? The mistake people make is believing that the value of their presence is obvious to others. It's not. Value is only recognized when scarcity is felt. The more freely you give your time to those who undervalue it, the less they will appreciate it. Just like in the world of money, flooding the market with too much of something causes it to lose value. Your presence carries weight because it brings something no one else can duplicate: your energy, your perspective, your support, your attention. But when you treat it like it's cheap, other people will too. If you're always available, always saying yes, always showing up no matter how little they acknowledge you, you're teaching them that your presence comes without cost. People pay attention when there's a price. That price doesn't have to be money. It can be effort, respect, consistency, or loyalty. You must be deliberate in who you give your time to. The ones who truly value you will understand that being in your space, having your attention, is a privilege, not a right. Think of the moments in life when someone's presence made you feel uplifted, inspired, or supported. That feeling doesn't come from just anyone. It comes from people who bring value when they show up. Now understand this: you are that person for someone else. And if you give that away too easily to those who ignore you, you strip it of its worth. Just like currency, your presence has power because it can be invested, saved, or spent wisely. When invested in the right people, it grows, relationships deepen, trust strengthens, and loyalty is built. When wasted on the wrong ones, it drains you and leaves you empty. The world will not set the price of your presence for you. You set it yourself. You decide whether it's given away for nothing or reserved for those who earn it. And once you start seeing your presence as currency, you stop feeling guilty for protecting it. You stop feeling bad for saying no. You stop apologizing for walking away from those who don't respect it. Because just like any valuable currency, when it's handled carelessly, it gets damaged, and when it's guarded, it grows in power. Every conversation you have, every place you show up, every person you give your energy to, you are making a transaction, and transactions should never leave you bankrupt. Withdraw without warning means you stop announcing your departure, you stop giving explanations that no one asked for, and you stop offering courtesy to those who never gave you the same in return. People become comfortable when they believe you will always be there. They take your calls for granted, they skim through your messages, they leave your presence unnoticed because they believe you'll keep showing up. The more predictable you are, the easier it is for them to ignore you. That's why the most powerful move you can make is to disappear without a single signal. No drama, no confrontation, no draw. Not conversations trying to make them understand your worth. Just silence. When you withdraw without warning, you remove the opportunity for them to prepare themselves for your absence. You take away the safety net they've gotten used to. They don't get the comfort of thinking, oh, they'll come back, because now they have no idea when, or if you will. That uncertainty forces them to confront the reality of your absence in a way that words never could. They start replaying their actions, searching for where they went wrong, realizing too late that the little moments they ignored were actually the big ones. Silence without warning is not an act of cruelty. It's a shift in energy. It's reclaiming what's yours without giving away the power in explanations that will fall on deaf ears. The truth is, if someone didn't value you when you were present, they won't value you because you told them they should. They will only value you when they feel the emptiness your absence leaves behind, and that emptiness hits hardest when it comes suddenly. The beauty of withdrawing without warning is that it breaks the cycle of predictable tolerance. You are no longer the one sending the last text, making the last call, or trying to fix what they're breaking. You are no longer giving them time to adjust to the idea of losing you slowly. You let them experience it in full. It's the difference between a dripping faucet and a sudden drought. One they can tolerate, the other they can't ignore. When you pull away quietly, you remove the noise that distracts from your value. No arguments, no begging, no statements about how they hurt you, just the reality of not having you there anymore, and in that silence, they have to sit with themselves. That's when they notice the absence of your energy in conversations, your presence in moments that used to feel full, your influence in spaces they thought they could fill without you. By withdrawing without warning, you also protect your dignity. You don't give them the satisfaction of knowing their behavior pushed you to your limit. You don't give them a chance to respond with empty promises or half-hearted apologies. You simply shift, vanish from their routine, and let them experience life without the benefits they took for granted. Let absence speak louder than words, because there is a language in silence that no speech can match. Words can be twisted, debated, or ignored, but absence is undeniable. When you are no longer where they expect you to be, when your voice is no longer the one they hear, when your presence no longer fills their space, it leaves a gap they cannot pretend isn't there. People can choose not to listen to what you say, but they cannot choose not to feel what's missing. Absence is a mirror that forces people to see what they once had and no longer do. When you stop showing up, when you stop making the effort, when you stop giving them the gift of your time, they begin to feel the weight of that loss. And that weight grows heavier with each day you remain silent. It's in the moments when they look for you and you're not there that they realize how much of their comfort was tied to your consistency. Absence doesn't need to explain itself. It just exists, and in existing, it delivers its own message. People rarely appreciate the constant until it becomes the missing. When you were always around, they didn't have to think about your importance because it was a given. But take that constant away, and suddenly, their world has a piece missing. It might not hit them immediately. Sometimes it's in the small moments when they reach for the phone and remember you're not on the other end. Or when they go through a day and notice how quiet it feels without your energy in it. That quiet starts to echo, and the echo becomes a reminder of what they lost. Letting absence speak is about removing the need to prove your worth with repeated words. It's about letting them connect the dots on their own. When you argue, beg, or explain, you give them a chance to dismiss what you're saying. When you're simply not there, there's nothing to dismiss its reality. They can't talk over it, they can't debate it, they can't ignore it. They can only feel it. This kind of silence isn't passive, it's intentional. It's choosing not to feed energy into places where it's been wasted. It's making the conscious decision to stop reminding someone of what they have and instead letting them face the reality of not having it. The more they feel the gap you leave behind, the more they begin to measure the depth of what you brought. The absence speaks in the empty seat, in the unanswered call, in the events they thought you'd be at but weren't. It speaks in the stillness of spaces you once filled effortlessly. Silence can hurt far more than words because it removes the comfort of interaction, even if that interaction was tense or filled with conflict. It leaves only the void, and the void makes them face themselves. In that space, they can no longer distract themselves with excuses or arguments. They are left to acknowledge what is gone and why it matters. Make them earn their way back by refusing to hand over what they once took for granted. When someone ignores you, they make a choice to disregard your value. If they later decide to return, that choice doesn't erase itself simply because they have changed their mind. Too often, people open the door wide the moment someone knocks again, forgetting the neglect, the dismissals, and the moments of silence they endured. That is how cycles repeat. The only way to break that cycle is to make them prove that they deserve to be where they once were in your life. Earning their way back means they must demonstrate effort, consistency, and genuine respect. It's not about holding grudges, it's about protecting your worth. When you allow someone to step back into your space without any accountability, you send the message that your boundaries are negotiable. But when you raise the standard, you make it clear that your presence is not a place they can leave and return to at will. They must show, not just say, that they have learned from the absence. It's easy for someone to claim they miss you when they feel the void, but words are cheap. Actions are the currency that counts, If they truly value you now, it will be evident in how they approach you. They won't expect the same access they once had. They'll work to rebuild trust, to prove that they are worthy of the time and energy you invest. This process may be slow, but it's necessary because value is reinforced through effort. The harder they work to be back in your life, the more they understand the privilege it is to be there. Making them earn their way back also protects you from those who return only out of convenience. Sometimes people come back not because they truly value you, but because they need something, a comfort, a distraction, or a benefit they can't find elsewhere. By requiring them to earn their place, you filter out the ones who are returning for selfish reasons. Those who are genuine will stay through the process. Those who aren't will leave when they realize it's not easy to walk back in. This isn't about revenge. It's about balance. It's about making sure that the energy between you and them is no longer one-sided. When they work to re-enter your life, they become more aware of the cost of losing you and more committed to not repeating that mistake. The process of earning your trust again changes the way they see you, not just as someone they know, but as someone whose time, love, and attention are worth protecting. By making them earn their way back, you also reaffirm your own self-worth. You prove to yourself that you're not afraid to set the bar high, and that you are willing to walk away again if that bar is not met. This is how respect is rebuilt, through effort, consistency, and the understanding that access to you is a privilege, not an entitlement.